Welcome back, Clash of Kings fans. It's DaYDreaMz, and today I'm going to show you guys how to set up your new castles, and for you advanced players, I'm going to show you how to set up your alliance hives, and basically how to position the buildings that you're using inside of your castle. So one of the most important things is having the maximum number of military tents and the maximum number of hospitals in your castle. So the maximum number of military tents is 8, and the maximum number of hospitals is 8. This is most important because you don't want all of your troops that you're building to actually die because you don't have enough hospitals. So you want to make sure that you have 8 hospitals and 8 tents. Now right now, because I'm only like a level 3, I just started this to show you guys, I can only build 4 hospitals and 4 military tents at a time. But you guys see what I'm saying. After we get to level 5, you'll be able to build all 8 military tents and all 8 hospitals. And then you can leave your remaining plots. You can have a few food plots, and you can have a few wood plots, and then you can have your iron plots and your mithril plots. But most importantly is the 8 military tents and 8 hospitals. Now over here is where you're going to want to put your military buildings, your archery range. You're going to want to put your archery range, your barracks, and your stables. And then once you get to level 4, this is where you're going to put your siege engine workshop, because this is where your troops are being trained in the most important buildings, and you're going to want them close to you at all times so that way you can see what's going on. This right here where I'm putting my hammer, this is where you're going to want to build your college, because you're also going to want to keep your college running full time. You don't want to ever leave your college idle, so you want to constantly be upgrading. Now remember that for resources it's on the left, and then city development and military is to the right, and you just want to keep them all upgrading at all times. So you want to have your college there, siege workshop here, and then for these spots, this is where you want to have your embassy, and this is where you want to have your hall of war. The reason those are important is the embassy will show you the troops that are reinforcing you, so you can either send people back or you can check your reinforcements. And right here, the hall of war is important because that way you can see who's rallying, and you can help with the rallies in your alliance. So that is also very important. So this is basically the basic setup to your personal castle. And then here in just a second, I'm going to show you how you're going to want to set up your hive, because setting up your hive is very important so that it flows correctly, and you don't want to make any mistakes where it's going to be easy for the enemy to attack you, because you want the enemy to be as far away from you as possible when you are, when your alliance is trying to grow. So I'm going to get to that here in just a second. I'm going to try to get that up so that way I can show you guys how to build your siege workshop right here. Put your siege engine workshop right there in the middle. So you have your siege, archer, infantry, and cavalry. Keep these working at all times. You're also going to want to keep your college also working at all times. Now I still need to go another level before I can get my embassy and my hall of war. That is so that I can see what is going on with the war in my alliance. Then you can just put the rest of your buildings over here, like the blacksmith. It doesn't matter, you can put them in any order over here. You can keep the blacksmith there, the fortress up here. I put the drill grounds usually in the back because it is not very important. But you want to put your most important buildings here on the left side, because this is where you're going to be focusing 90% of your energy. You're going to come here for the event center. You're going to come here for the lucky wheels. So your markets right here. You want everything centered in this area. But now that you got your castle upgraded, you definitely want to finish these hospitals. So let's go ahead and get that done. It doesn't matter where you really put them, but I like to put my hospitals and my military tents to the right side. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off with military tents. I deleted a tent in this spot, and right now it's not letting me click it, but as you can see, you open up more spaces here, so that can be for resources. But make sure you definitely have these 8 tents and these 8 hospitals. As you grow, you'll be able to put more and more up, but for now it's capping me at 6 tents, 6 hospitals. So here on the next level, I'll be able to put down the final 2 tents and hospitals. And remember guys, that is the most important part, because the more tents you have, the faster you're going to be able to train troops, and the more hospitals you have, the more troops you can heal. Okay, that's enough for the beginner setup. Let me get back to my main castle so I can show you guys how to set up one of my big castles. This isn't my main castle, but this is the second castle I use. It's a good support castle, and as you can see, we have 8 military tents that you level up so that way you can get faster growth on your troops. Look at each one. Every time it upgrades, this is a level 20, and it upgrades 10 training volumes. So that's 10 more troops that are being trained at a time. So every even number, you get 10 more troops per tent, and every odd number, you get 1% training speed, which is my favorite. So you can train troops, you know, up to 50% faster when you max these things out. So that's great to have. So, and then the hospitals, that adds 500 troops wounded for every hospital. So when you couple that with your science, when you're get your city development, and you get your herbology or your medical facilities, so that way you get plus 20,000. And then once you get the SVIP 10, you get that 30% bonus on healing. Plus you can do the dragon glass. You can get huge hospitals, over 300,000 held in each of your tents. So that's great to have when you can when you've got 8 hospitals. So make sure you have 8 hospitals, 8 tents. That is the most important part about setting up your castle. Now, as far as Hive setup, as you can see, I'm the king of Kingdom 440. We've taken most of the thrones here in Kingdom 440. We have the kingdom well under control. Let me show you how to set up your hive. So ideally, you want to put your gathering castles around all of your main castles, and ideally you want to put your weaker members in the middle so that your stronger players on the outside of the hive can protect the weaker members. Now, here's one thing I can tell you about setting up a hive: leave no gaps. You don't want to leave any gaps for your enemies to teleport into. You want to make them march very far. Like, as you can see where I am, for every direction that you go, you will see no gaps for the enemies to teleport into, because it's all covered by castles, depots, and turrets. Now, if a member wants to leave, say one of your members wants to teleport out to attack an enemy, what you do is you put down a turret. I'm trying to find one that we put down. If you can try to, okay, like right here. So if someone leaves, you put a turret down in their place, so that way the enemy cannot teleport in. Also, use barriers such as lakes and mountains to make it farther. Make that the edge of your hive and make it farther for enemies to march. So if an enemy wants to teleport in here, he's got 15 kilometers to march to even attack me or my collection castles. So the good thing is that gives my allies plenty of time to reinforce me, or me plenty of time to reinforce my allies. So make sure you guys do that. Don't leave any gaps in your hive. Make sure you put your collection alliances in the middle. As you can see, we have our 4. We have a mine for each resource that we put in the middle. That's a good way to set up your hive. Normally they're in a perfect square, but they got a little messed up because we had to cover gaps. As you can see, that turret there is covering a gap. We moved this over to cover a gap. It's all about making your enemy march as far as possible to get to you and your collection castle. So that's the way you want to set up your hive, guys. That's the way you want to set up your castle, guys. If you want to see more tips and tricks videos, I have my own YouTube channel called DaYDreaMz MMO RTS. I'll leave the link in the description so that you can come check it out. I'd love to see you guys. I do giveaways. I have a lot of cool attack videos, dragon campaign videos, kingdom conquest videos. I basically have a video on everything that has to do with Clash of Kings, and I would love to see you guys come over and say hi and check out the channel. So I'll see you guys next time in the tips and tricks video here in about 4 or 5 days, and thanks for stopping by. See ya.